Hello, welcome back to the Fit House podcast. We are back. It's been a while. Today we're going to talk about a little life update with us, and we're also going to talk about the biggest misconceptions in fitness.
And we're doing it in one take. We
Yes.
agreed that this is just going to be off the cuff.
Yes, life has changed. The baby is napping, and we need to be efficient.
What I've seen in my experience, the biggest misconception in fitness is the idea that you just go to the gym, you just start exercising, and your body changes. You're going to get leaner, you're going to get stronger, you're going to get healthier, and it just does not work that way.
Yeah, there's been plenty of times in my life, especially in my early 20s, teens, when I would go to the gym, think all I needed to do was hop on the treadmill, do some machines, and I was going to see results. Number one, it never lasted long, but number two, I never saw any results. And once I learned that you didn't have to run to see results, I was all for it.
Yeah, in my experience, what I see is you could literally do anything. And so I'm going to disagree with you a little bit there because I think you could do anything and see results for a very small period of time. Like if someone's never done anything before, they go to the gym, they jump on a machine, they start lifting some weights, they're going to start getting stronger. And then eventually it's just going to stop like out of the blue. And then in my experience, so what you just said, Gina, that's where people get unmotivated. Like people are always motivated to get started with something. And then you start seeing results and it gets exciting. But then all of a sudden, when those results stop because you don't know what to do next, that's when people get unmotivated. When they start putting work in and all of a sudden the work they're putting in isn't giving back. So I'm going to pick on you a little bit if that's okay, since we're only doing this in one shot. I hope it's okay. So when you go to the gym, if you just jump on the treadmill and start running on the treadmill, I assume you did see some results at first. Am I correct?
No, because I never stuck with it long enough.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So you're the exception. Like I can relate in when I was a teenager, I went to the gym. The only knowledge I had of what to do was stuff from like bodybuilding magazines. And I saw results, not to the extent that I wanted to, but I saw results just through my sheer willpower because I was going to the gym 7 days a week. I'd be at the gym for like 3 hours. Like you have to see something, and you do have to see something. But eventually that shut down, and I was still going to the gym 7 days a week. I was still working out for hours at the time, and that really started to get frustrating when I was putting that much work in, but it wasn't giving back because I was not just staying the same, I was even moving backwards a little bit. There's scientific reasons of why that happens, but I can totally empathize why that is so frustrating. There's nothing special about weights. Like physiologically, something happens in your body when you lift weights a certain way. The beautiful thing about weights, dumbbells, barbells, is it's so structured, you can be so precise with it. So I can target all these different areas, all these different muscles in my body, all these different movement patterns, and I got a really great gauge of progress because I can raise the increments. Like at Fit House, we have increments as small as a quarter of a pound. So we can slowly and progressively get stronger and keep seeing results over time. Whereas, let's say you were a lumberjack, Gina. You'd be a beautiful lumberjack.
Good idea.
Let's say you're a lumberjack. You go out first couple of weeks on the job. You're doing a lot of physical labor. You're going to start seeing some results. You're going to be building like a little bit of muscle. You're going to be getting stronger. Your body's going to be better at what you're doing. But then what happens after that? There's no way like, hey, next week I'm using this tree to work my body in this movement pattern, and we found an oak tree that is half a pound more than the last one, so we're going to progressively get stronger. Does that make sense where I'm coming from on this?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other misconception is every time we're working something in the gym, so like our clients at Fit House, every time we're doing a program, there's something we're not doing. So we're getting stronger on the program that we're doing, but there's also these different muscles and different movement patterns that aren't getting worked because there's no such thing as a complete program. It's impossible to get everything done in one shot. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is people get glued to one program. Maybe they cut something out of a magazine. Maybe they found something online. They do that program. It's going to give results for a short period of time. eventually your body is going to shut you down for a few physiological reasons. Your body just shuts you down. You're not going to keep seeing results. And then it's like, what's next? If you don't do the proper step of what's next. So that's the biggest reason I see people fail is not because of a lack of motivation, but because of a lack of knowledge of once I got from point A to point B, what do I do next to get from point B to point C or point C to point D? And then usually they get unmotivated and fall off. Like you said, you never stuck it out long enough to actually see some results. And nutrition's kind of really the same way. Nutrition, I always say to Gina, I go, people can't put down the wine for long enough to see the reality of nutrition. And what I mean by that is you could literally, there's thousands of nutrition programs out there, right? You could start any nutrition program for a couple of weeks or just stop drinking wine and you're going to lose weight on the scale, right? But what I mean is people can't put the wine down and they can't stay away from the wine. Is there's this fallacy that builds up in their head, people have expressed to me, where they stop drinking wine, they lose like 5 pounds, they cut out some sugars, they lose another 5 pounds, so now we're down 10 pounds, like great. But then eventually they go back to drinking the wine or the sugar. But they created the idea that if they would have just stuck with stopping the wine and stopping the sugar, that weight loss and that fat loss is going to continue. And it just doesn't work that way. It's the same as like weightlifting with a weightlifting program. What gets you from point A to point B is not the same plan that gets you from point B to point C. So putting down the wine is like step one, but that's it. And a lot of people have a hard time just even making it past that step and to be able to see what's next.
Yes. I'm going to cut you off because we got to get to our life update or we're not going to have time.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Wow, all right. Oh, can you relate to any of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Before we met, I did like a very simple nutrition program. I, did like boot camp classes and it only got me so far. And then I needed a more advanced program to continue to see results, to like continue to lose the weight that I wanted to lose.
But you know what's something I noticed in you? It's weird. Are we supposed to stare at each other? We're supposed to stare at the camera. Something I've noticed in you, not anymore, but the first like 3-4 years of us knowing each other. We've known each other for how long now? You told me the other day.
10 years.
It seems like a lifetime. But what a beautiful 10 years it's been. Is I noticed with Gina, she would always make progress. And again, this is in the past, but she would always make progress. And then she would like hit a plateau. And then when you hit that plateau, you got 2 choices. Like either you take the next step so you can keep seeing results, or you digress. It's just like, it is what it is. You don't stay at a plateau for long. You either progress or you go backwards. And what would you do? You would always go back to something that you did in the past that served you in the past.
Yeah, and it never worked again.
But I remember when Gina and I first started dating, she was doing a specific nutrition program and it got her from point A to point B, and then she was stuck. And so her and I, my intent was never to be her nutrition trainer or weightlifting trainer, but I had other intents with you. But when she was ready, she took the next step forward. But then when it was time to take another step forward, she would always default back to that original program she was doing, because she would express to me, like, it worked for me so good in the past. And I would try to tell her, like, you're above that now. Like, if that was the 1st grade, you're up to like the 5th grade and we need to do 5th grade stuff. But she would always go back to that first one. Then she would start to go backwards. She would start to put weight back on. She would get really frustrated. And then eventually she like got it. But sometimes the only way you learn is through your own experience.
100%.
And now I can't tell you the amount of times I've heard you telling somebody, like, you can't do that. You can't keep going back to what you did in the past.
Yeah.
I always equate it to, it's like if you're learning the piano, like one of the first songs you learn is Chopsticks, right? Once you know Chopsticks, it's over. Like, you know Chopsticks. It's time to learn Jingle Bells, and then it's time to learn Fur Elise, and then it's time to, like, you can't go back to learning Chopsticks again because you did it. Your body's got it down. You saw all the results you're ever going to see from that, and it's over. It's time to move on. And that's usually why the clients, Gina pinched me because I know she wants me to get this moving so we get this film before Taya wakes up. The clients, I'll end on this. The clients that I tend to feel that we see the absolute best results with and who appreciate working with us the most are people who say, I have tried everything and nothing works.
Yeah.
Then we start working together and then we get them on a plan that progresses with their body. So as they get from point A to point B, plan changes. Then we go from B to C, plan changes. C to D, plan changes. But the beautiful part is they keep making progress without having those plateaus. Those are the people who, in my opinion, always see the most success because they've already been through that period of putting the work in and not having the work give them back the results they want. So it feels like nothing's working, like nothing works for me. Then they get on the proper plan and they see results. They always appreciate that so much. And I love seeing that as well because I've been there myself in the past.
Yes.
Okay, do your life update.
My life update
Yeah, what's
or our
going?
life update?
I don't know what's going on in your life. We might have different things going on.
Well, we had a baby.
We did have a baby.
So March 2023, we had our baby at home. She's amazing. I went back to working out a couple weeks after I had her. I've since worked out 4 days a week, sometimes bringing Taya with me, and I've been on track with my nutrition. I would say I probably roped in my nutrition maybe 3 months after I had Taya, and by 7 months postpartum, I was able to get back down to my pre-pregnancy weight and feel good again. And then, yeah, just incorporating our daily, like, active lifestyle with our daughter. We take her for walks and bike rides and do all the things with her. So it's been a lot of fun having her around.
The whole time you were saying that, all I was thinking, one, I'm very proud of you. You have done an amazing job, and I hope that I help support you in that as well.
Yeah, 100%.
I remember it was like 6 or 7 years ago, it was like a news story I read. Some girl posted a picture online, like she got back, she was in really great shape. She had a baby and then she got back in really great shape. And I don't know what the time period was, but I just remember there was like a ton of backlash against her. Like people critiquing her, saying she was trying to like posture by sharing that, or she was making other people feel. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
The whole time you were saying that, it was just making me think of that. And I hope nobody like takes of that, because you are probably the most genuine, caring, supporting person. And I don't mean supporting just your family, of all of our clients, of all your nutritional clients, of people that we don't even work with. Like I've never seen somebody so open when she's asked to help somebody out and give them advice and guide them. So I hope nobody took that impression from what you were saying as well. But I also think it's really cool because you have the knowledge of what to do. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. Christopher helped me. He wrote me a nutrition plan. I would say I wasn't ready to like dedicate my like the rest of the mental capacity that I had, because you're so sleep deprived. I wasn't ready to like mentally wrap my head around nutrition until I was like 3 months postpartum. But I continued to eat healthy because, I was breastfeeding and Taya was reaping the benefits of what I was eating. And I wasn't ready in that mental capacity to commit myself for longer. But getting back into an active lifestyle, and everybody's ready at different points in time. Everybody has a different circumstance. Some people are ready to just like do some pelvic floor exercises at home, like a couple weeks in, or, when I say I went back to the gym a couple weeks postpartum, like I was not lifting heavy weights. I was lifting like baby weights, doing a lot of seated exercises, like not going hard by any means. And, I was bringing my baby with me, which I had the luxury to do. So everybody is able to do different things on different timelines. That's just what worked for me and our circumstances.
I think there's different seasons for everything, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
before you got pregnant, it was like the season of Gina, like really, and this is just what I saw, but I saw Gina had really like pieced everything together, like in terms of her mental aspect on training and nutrition. She got to the leanest that she's ever been. Of course, she got pregnant right after that, but she got to the leanest that she's ever been. You seemed like so happy, and like that was the season.
But that also helped me out tremendously because I was like at my lowest, at my leanest when I got pregnant. So it like set me up for success throughout my pregnancy too.
Yeah, you kind of stole my thought,
Oh,
but
I'm
what
sorry.
that's okay. What I was gonna say is that was the season. Then you got pregnant, and then the season was no longer like training and eating to be your leanest. The season was training and eating to be strong, to keep your body strong throughout pregnancy. Also, every single thing you put in your mouth is going towards our child. So, nutritionally, doing the best job possible to set our child up for a healthy future. So, it's like the season changed to doing the best Gina could do for herself and our child for their health and their strength. And then after your pregnancy, I mean, it's basically an injury, right? It's like the same as when I tore my Achilles. Like the season changed to you only had so much mental and physical capacity, how to start rebuilding your body, how to start making your body strong again. Like training and nutrition was geared towards rebuilding Gina's body and making her strong again. And then once you got through that, like the season is still not your like it was before you were pregnant. Like the season now is one of, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, I look at it like you are making nice, steady improvements in terms of your strength, in terms of your body compositions, like your fat loss and building muscle, but also in terms of not overextending yourself. Like you're training 4 days a week, but on top of those 4 days a week before, when you were your leanest, you were doing a lot of extra, like on top of that. So it's like you
Mm-hmm.
got your base 4 days a week. And that's what I was going to say that I appreciated that you said was the moral of all of this was no matter what was going on in life and what season, you did have a base level of training, like 4 days a week, no matter what. So you always kept that base. So if your body does go through a traumatic event, now whether that's an injury or whether that's childbirth or whatever it is, you always have that base that you can get back to a lot quicker. And that base helps carry you through whatever that traumatic event is so you could come out the other side stronger, healthier, and being able to get back on point.
Yeah. And one thing that I, made a goal for myself throughout my first trimester of pregnancy was I didn't miss a workout my whole first trimester because once you miss one or once there's like a hiccup in your life or your schedule, it's so easy to create an excuse like, okay, well, I'm just not feeling it this day or I'm not feeling good. Like, no matter what it is, I know Chris has a picture of me like literally eating a beef stick on the kneeling leg curl machine because I was just so nauseous and so sick, but I was just like trying to get it done. I like needed to eat something like literally while I was doing leg curls. And like that's the level that I was at that point. But what I was gonna, wrap that into is, you know, a lot of women are, you know, they get so wrapped up in this huge life change of motherhood, and then working out never becomes part of their life again. And you might not feel it then, but I am in so many darn mom groups on Facebook and everything. And I would say the number one thing that hits moms within the first 3 years of their kid's life is I don't feel good about myself. I don't have energy. I hit a slump at 2 p.m. and I didn't want that to be me. And so a couple weeks after Teo was born, just getting my body moving again helped my energy levels so much. So was I seeing these like crazy weight loss, results? No, I don't think I lost like, besides like natural weight that you would lose postpartum, I don't think I lost any weight like the first, and maybe initially, but not any like extra weight the first 3 months. But it helped my energy levels because when you're already sleep deprived and you're not feeling yourself, it helps you to get your body moving, to get back into the swing of things. And the earlier that you start, in my opinion, the easier it is for you to keep up with that routine. Like you're making an appointment for yourself and you're making it a priority. Um, and Taya benefits from that. You know, your kids benefit from that.
I think it's also helpful to have a supportive partner.
Yes, it is.
And I was just thinking of this when Gina was talking about going to the gym, because you missed very few workouts during your pregnancy. Like, how many would you say you missed?
I missed 4.
Okay, so she
Total.
knows exactly.
At 4 times per week, I missed 4 workouts. I was very proud of myself for that.
There were days where Gina did not feel like going, and I would give her a pep talk and tell her why I thought it was important she would go to the gym. And that happened quite a bit. But also, there were 4 times when I gave you a pep talk when you did not go to the gym. Like, you could only do so much as a supportive partner, and I have no idea what you felt like. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you didn't feel very good on those 4 days. I feel like if I had not been supportive and encouraging you and giving you pep talks on some of those days, if I was like, oh, just stay home, come on, sit down, watch TV, just put your feet up and relax, you would not have had the same result. And I always see that in clients of ours when there's 2 partners who are both health focused.
It's so huge. It's like you're setting yourself up for failure if you have somebody that is not supportive in your life. Like, and I've experienced that in the past before, not to cut you off, but I've experienced that in the past before of, you know, when I was first starting out on my fitness journey, like having a partner that was not supportive, and it sets you up for failure because, you know, besides, you know, one of the things that Chris and I have in common so much is how we live our life. Like, it's active, it's fit, like surrounded by fitness, and we hold you know, nutrition to a very high standard, and that's how we like to live our lives. But if I had somebody that was ordering pizza and discouraging me from going to the gym all the time, I wouldn't, how would you stay on track? It's a completely different lifestyle.
I remember you did that to me before. This is before Gina was like really on track with her stuff. This is when we first started dating. I was like, summer was coming up. We wanted to diet down. I wanted to be really lean for summer. And I was following my stuff 100%. And Gina's like, I really want to go to Saigon Bangkok tonight. And I'm just like, Gina, fuck. It's not helpful to me. I don't want to go to Saigon Bangkok. And then she's like, well, maybe I'll just get Saigon Bangkok. And then next thing I know, like I'm looking at the menu and I'm like, oh, this doesn't look too bad. Maybe I could fit this in. And then before you know it, I just ate an entire Saigon Bangkok. And I'm like, fuck, I ruined my whole thing. I was on track. I was mad at myself. I was mad at Gina. Like it's hard though, like when it's right in front of you.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I'm sorry.
I'm still getting over it, but no, I'm teasing. I love you. But it is hard if you don't have a supportive partner. I will say, in terms of my update, I have a very supportive partner as well. I kind of went through something because Taya was born and I turned 40, like almost right after. And somebody asked me, like, how did you handle turning 40? And I was like, I don't know. I spent all weekend on Ancestry.com looking up my family tree. So I think, I don't know. But something just clicked in me. I've said this to people since I have been doing this professionally. So this has been well over a decade I've been saying to people. And I've always meant this, but I never appreciated it the way I appreciate it now. I would always say, take care of yourself so you can better take care of the ones you love. Like, be the best, strongest, healthiest version of yourself. And I'm going to say best looking too. And you know why? People act like it's a sin to say like they want to be lean and they want to look good. Because you know what? Guess what? When you are leaner and you feel good and you look in the mirror and you feel good about what you're seeing, you're a better version of yourself. Your attitude's better. You feel better about yourself. And the joke is, if you truthfully train and eat for optimal health, well, optimal health is being muscular and lean. So like the two of those go hand in hand. And the caveat is if you're doing it properly, because there are ways that people go about things where they just try to get really lean and lose a bunch of weight in an unhealthy way. So if you're doing it properly, they go together. But it really hit me like, I want to be the best version of myself. There's 40 years between my daughter and myself. And I was just like, man, so that means when she's going to be 20 years old, I'm going to be 60. I still want to be able to keep up with her. I want to be like fun dad. I want to be able to do things with her. I want to be able to be active. And I want to be there to see, God willing, I want to be there to see my grandchildren someday. And God willing, I'm there to see my great grandchildren someday. So I was going through a lot while this was going on. And a couple things happened. So I did a drastic change of my nutrition as a result because I felt there was something that I could be doing better for my health mentally. I really recommitted myself to my working out. Actually, I normally do an average of 4 days a week in working out. I actually upped it to 5 days a week. There was a Saturday morning. I've been coming in before anybody's training at Fit House, and it's like there's nothing going on at home at that time. Like Taya's sleeping, Gina's sleeping. I was thinking, you know what? Friday night, I could either Gina goes to bed early with Taya. So I could either sit up and fuck around on my phone and do nothing productive, or I could just go to bed early and wake up and work up early on Saturday. And I started doing that, and it's been absolutely amazing. So I've kind of like recommitted myself to all of my training and my nutrition. And it is beautiful out now. Before I was taking, Gina would come with me a lot. We would take Taya to the mall for walks during the inclement weather. But now that it is beautiful outside, I got this nice little carrier that Gina got for Taya to ride on my bike in front of me. And it is literally
She's a co-pilot. It's the cutest thing ever.
it's the best thing in the world. I have never been happier in my life. And then like something really weird happened to me when Taya was born. When I was holding Taya, like for the first time. So this is like, can I say stuff or are you gonna be like?
I'm not gonna.
All right. So we had a home birth, and Gina's in this pool, and she's holding Taya, and then I got to come over like next to her, and I just see the two of them and hold Taya. The first thing Gina said was, she looks at Taya, and then she just goes, "I knew she was gonna look like you." But then as I'm holding her, I was thinking like, oh my God, in an instant, like my parents were holding me like that one day. Like 40 years ago, my parents were holding me in that same way. And just like all of a sudden, like everything clicked. Like I always appreciated everything my parents have ever done for me, but I really appreciated everything my parents have ever done for me. And I wanted to do that same back to Taya. And now when I look at people, it's fucking weird. Like I look at people and I'm just like, we were all that little baby once. Like every single one of us was that little baby at one period of time, just like pure and clean, and like our attitude and our self-esteem has not been like fucked up by the world and bad experiences in school, and our bodies haven't been like jacked up by poor nutrition, and it's like we were all just this like clean slate in the beginning. And the best way I could describe this is the way I look at people right now is like we were all once this amazing clean slate. We've all had these different experiences that have got us to whatever point we're at life. Some of them great experiences and some of them not as great experiences. And like we're all the same. We're all just people. And in terms of like training and nutrition, I have become like so much more patient like that. And the reason is like how do I say this? My heart goes out when I see a kid who's struggling with anything. Because usually when a kid's struggling with something, that turns into an adult who's struggling with something over time. So my piece of the puzzle is only like training and nutrition related with people. But I try to meet everyone at their level that they're at right now. And everyone got to that level through all the different experiences they've went through since they were that little baby. Meet them at that level and help them move forward into whatever the next level of health and fitness is that they truly want to accomplish. Is that a fair way to? It's tough because I'm trying to make it quick, and these are like conversations that Gina and I have for like, we'll go for a walk or bike ride, be talking for like an hour. It's tough to try to sum it up in just 2-3 minutes. So I hope the thought came across.
It's so often that Taya looks at us and she copies everything. Like, she is a little copycat. Um, but so it's like whatever we're drinking, she wants to drink. Whatever we're eating, she wants to eat. And she's never going to know any different than what we're giving her now. Like, she's going to be exposed to that in social situations. But other than that, like, her daily life is like, you know, it's whatever we're doing. That's what she wants to do. And I see so often, you know, I would say, what would you say, 80 or 90% of the people we train are moms. I would say, or parents of some sort. Um, and more often than not, when I'm doing a nutrition program with somebody, they're like, I want to set a better example for my kids. Like, I'm doing this, but I want my kids to follow suit. And one of our relatives did a nutrition plan with us one year, and your cousin.
Oh, okay.
And
oh, she rocked it.
Yeah, not only did she rock it,
her kids rocked it.
But her kids rocked it because she would be like, you know, she would have like, I don't know, something pre-cooked in the refrigerator. And she'd be like, yeah, it's going great, but my son is eating all my ground beef, and then I go in there and there's no ground beef for me. But it's like, your kids, they're little copycats, and like, your kids are eating better because you're eating better. But your kids will be more active. Like, Taya's not going to know a life where we're not going for walks and we're not going for bike rides and we're not in the gym doing something, because that's what she's raised around.
And we were all kids. Like, I'm a little copycat too. If I would have kept eating the way that I was brought up eating, I would not be healthy. I would be obese right now. Like, I know like what my genetics look like. Like, I would never get like real like fat in my arms.
Sorry.
But I would have a big belly. I'd have a belly like out the here right now, like one of those nice big beer bellies, if I had just followed the example that was set by my family. And just what it is, because like that's how I was brought up. That was normal to me. Like, your typical, there's this fallacy that like Italian people are lean. Like, I don't like some Italian people in Italy, yeah, are lean, but there's this fallacy that like Italians are lean as they get older, because that is not true. And if you're Italian, like, look around at the next family reunion, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I feel like the same for you. Like, we just by nature of me taking an interest in strength training when I was younger, slowly over time, because I was so steadfast in that, my family, meaning my mother, my father, my sister, I mean, even my brother, like everybody, has changed the way they've eaten to be a lot healthier. And same with your family, I believe.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
We got any more updates?
Not for this week.
I'll just say one more thing. Being a father is like the best thing in the entire world. Like, I feel so blessed. I feel like the best version of myself. And if we're going back to my update, I want to continue to be the best version of myself, because I want to feel the best version of myself for my daughter, for my wife, for my clients, for like anybody. That's pretty all the people that I'm in touch with throughout like on a week to week.
How many people do we know?
What's that?
How many people do we know?
I just know my family and my clients. Like that's it. But I'm very, very, I love our clients. I really love our clients. Like, we work with, like, we don't have like, you know what someone says every New Year, somebody will say to me like, oh, you're going to like, is business about to like really pick up? Like, you have a whole bunch of people coming in. We're not like the commercial gym. Like, the commercial gym, like tons of people come in New Year's, and then those same people are gone by like February. Like, our clientele, we have committed, dedicated clientele, and like the type of people we train are the type of people who are serious about their health, they're serious about their fitness, and they're serious about it like long term. So they're not like fly by night, like show up in January, disappear in March, and then try to get ready for summer and then disappear in June. Like, that's not the type of people we work with. And I'm really, really appreciative of our clientele. You're tapping me. Does that mean I need to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think we need to wrap it up.
All right. Well, this was fun.
It was fun. Glad to be back.
Glad to be back.
It's been a little bit of a hiatus, but we had a good reason for it.
All right. And we'll see you when we see you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.